What's going on, everybody? We're doing a little mini road trip. Look at the camera. Every time you drive through some good haze like this, pull over and take some shots because everything looks so epic. Check this out. We're gonna add a little bit of spooky music. See, wasn't that terrifying? But check out this lens real quick. This is a 100mm macro lens. It's an L series. You can tell it's a Canon L series because of that red strip. It blew so much gravel into my face. But basically, L series lenses are Canon's high-end lenses, and generally they're more weatherproof and they're baby-proof. Way to go, Henry. They're just generally more professional grade lenses. They're sharper and just all around just better and more legit. And look at that red strip, looks cool. And Armando was like, hey, these are on sale right now, so pick one up. But this one specifically is spectacular for its macro. But when it comes to the 100mm prime, the L series version is not that much more than its basic counterpart, so I'm very curious to test this guy out. 100mm is definitely not the most common focal length you're gonna be using, but the stuff you can get out of it can be very, very unique, especially with the macro capabilities of this. So today we're gonna be testing out this guy. I got the 100mm on my red right now. That's the beauty of Canon EF lenses. You could throw it on most cameras. You could throw it on Sony cameras, you could throw it on the red, you could throw it on Arri Alexa. I'm gonna see how close I can get this camera before it gets too blurry. Oh my God, you can see a lot. This is super sharp. You can see every little eyelash. This is awesome. Next up, a half-drinking cup of iced coffee. Oh, the condensation looks so cool. Everything just looks so cool. Let's try out an almond. No, don't eat it. Fun little fact, Carrie used to work at a jeweler. She knows how to look at diamonds and stuff. So usually when you look at these, you have like one of those like monocle looking things, right?
The jeweler's loop.
A jeweler's loop. With this lens, you guys can also become diamond experts. Okay, let's take a look at this diamond real quick. And to me, all diamonds look kind of the same. I mean, if you were to just show me a piece of glass and be like, this is a diamond, I'd be like, cool. Is this close enough to where you can actually...
Yeah, you can actually see... Oh, what's that?
Someone just got in a car accident. By looking at this, you can be like, oh, that's a real diamond.
Oh, for sure. So that little black spot is a small piece of carbon, cubic zirconia. It's almost like perfect. You look at it and it's like perfectly like crystal clear.
Diamonds are like people. If they're too perfect, they're fake. When you worked at the jewelry store, didn't you have to tell people that their diamonds were fake?
Yes. Yes, like it happened a couple times where, you know, these women, they would come in to get their diamonds either cleaned or sized, and we always test the diamonds before we take them in. Some of them, we've tested them and we've, you know, gently told the customer that it's not a diamond and so we couldn't take it to repair it. And a couple of the ladies like freaked out. My husband spent $10,000 on this ring.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, people do get scammed.
Another reason why you guys should have a macro lens is before you buy any jewelry, you just be like, hold on, let me bring in my red camera with my macro lens real quick.
Always test your diamonds before you buy.
Or else you're gonna end up in Carrie's old diamond shop and she's gonna be like, this is a fake ass diamond.
Did you just fart?
Yes. And we're back at my apartment. Right now we are shooting on the 100mm prime lens as we speak, and it's on the Canon EOS R full frame right now. And the focal length of 100mm, where does that kind of stand in the lineup of lenses? Well, generally speaking, if I want to vlog, I'd go between 10 to 16mm because you could only hold the camera out so far and you still need it to be a good wide angle. If I'm trying to go for like a cinematic wide angle shot, then I generally go for like a 24, and then if I'm trying to get like a nice medium shot, then 35 to 50, but then 85 to 135 is generally my go-tos for close-ups. And right now we are on the 100, which is just right dab in the middle, so I'm getting a pretty nice close-up right here, and the camera's at a nice distance. But let's say you have a 24mm, then why don't you just take that 24mm and stick it right up in the actor's face so that it becomes a close-up? Well, first of all, it's awkward for actors to have a camera like right there in their face, but also every focal length compresses space a little bit differently. And what does that even mean? Well, I'm on the 100mm tight lens and the space is pretty compressed. I'm on a pretty good close-up right now. If I take a whole big step back, it's not that different. And you can see there's a wall behind me, but it's kind of hard to tell exactly how far that wall is behind me. A lot of this depth that you're looking at is very much compressed. So like I could be all the way over here And now we are on the 24mm. Notice how much bigger this room is, even though like we're still kind of in this medium close-up range. So if you're filming like real estate or property, a lot of times you want to use a super wide angle lens to make that space look huge and just expand that space, opposed to compressing it with a tight angle lens. Remember how earlier I would just take like one step back and it would still be in a close-up because the space is so compressed? Well, here, if I just take one step back, that same distance, now I'm like tiny in the frame. It looks completely different. So if I'm trying to get a medium close-up on this 24mm lens, I only really have like a foot or two of working space before it becomes a completely different shot. So let's say I'm trying to film something that moves a whole lot. With a tight angle lens, there's a bigger sweet spot because all that is compressed. Even from a tripod, you have a lot more distance and space to track something. And another thing to keep in mind is that with a tighter lens, you're using a very small portion of the background. Like, so right now we're seeing all of my background, and luckily I'm still pointing up, because if you were to like look down, you would see this massive mess behind me. I have to get that window in the frame, I have to get that painting and all this crap all over the place. But with a tight angle lens, you could get the same type of shot of me and just get like just this little bit of the background, like all this and all that. None of that's gonna be in the shot. Let me show you. Boom, we're back on the 100mm, and check that out. See, it's still kind of like the general same shot, but that background just looks like it's right up against me. I mean, generally you could tell it's further back there because it's blurry, but if I were to close down that aperture and make that also sharp, it'll literally look like I'm stuck on the wall, like I'm glued on there. So obviously there's a time and place for all focal lengths, but generally speaking, if you're on a wide angle lens and you're getting your shot and you're like, oh, the background's just disgusting, then just throw a tight lens on there and just get all that background all nice and blurry. And it's pretty hard to get a shot that looks bad when you're on a tight lens like this and the background's blurry. All you need is like one little corner to look somewhat decent and you could get the shot to look pretty good. And I think there's just like this like artistic look to it. Like you could just have this lens and just film anything you want up close and people would be like, wow, you're artistic. Another thing I'm digging about this 100mm lens is the image stabilization on it. I'm holding it as stable as I can. And I'm gonna turn it on. Boom. Whoa. That's not bad. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but everything I say in this extreme close-up camera angle just feels so important. I don't even have to be talking about anything and I just start kind of creeping in some dramatic music, and oh my God, what I'm saying right now is very, very important in a close-up, and that's what close-ups do for you. But anyways, we're back out of it. But another thing I should mention is that if you have a lens already and you want to turn it into a macro lens, get some extreme close-up shots, you could also get these tubes. So it's just a little spacer that you add in between your lens and your camera. It just fits right there, so it allows your lens to focus even closer. But keep in mind, when you have these tubes on, you could only focus on something really close. You can't focus on something further away. But if you're filming like jewelry or product shots or extreme close-up texture types of stuff, it generally makes sense to have a macro lens or at least one of these spacers so that you can get your camera super focused in on that tiny little item. Now it is time for the reading of the comments, and I'm just gonna leave it on the super close-up lens just because everything's so dramatic at this angle, don't you think? My last video was the Insta360 1X camera, which is kind of like this camera from the future that records a full 360 and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. I suggest you go check it out. Top comment was, we just got the 7 Black and I'd love to include in time warps in our travel videos. However, 360 videos as well as VR might be a thing of the future, and I hope they keep developing that. I agree with you. Some of the features that they threw into this camera, it's really mind-blowingly awesome, and I feel like it's still kind of hard to publish and consume 360 video, and generally speaking, I still believe that a standard video screen is going to be king for a while, but you never know. It's funny because everyone kept thinking 3D was going to be the thing of the future, and then now we realize that everyone just wants to consume content from their phone, like this tiny little screen. So you never know what the next trend is going to be. But yeah, the stuff you can accomplish out of that 360 camera is pretty unreal and super fun to play with. I want to attach the Insta360 to my Mavic Pro. Dude, I want to do that too. I already ordered a mount to mount it to my Mavic Pro, so that'll be pretty cool to test out when it comes in. Oh kid, Carl Fredrickson never told you that it's dangerous up there on the rooftop? Who's Carl Fredrickson? Alan says giveaways are always good. Now, I actually have a question for you guys. Do you guys prefer the sponsored videos where I can give away cool stuff, or the non-sponsored stuff where I don't have to talk about Skillshare for like 45 seconds? But when I don't have a sponsor, it makes it a lot harder for me to just give away free, cool, expensive stuff. For example, this video is not sponsored, but if it was, I could probably give away this lens to somebody after I test it. So that would be cool, but I would be so broke if I kept doing that on non-sponsored videos. Because whenever I do a giveaway, all the comments are like very positive. They're like, oh, we love giveaways and blah, but because it's usually because you guys are trying to win the giveaway. But I'd be curious how many of you guys are actually just sitting at home like, I don't really care about giveaways. I just rather have unsponsored content. I don't know. You guys tell me. Can you guys do me a favor and just take that poll real quick and tell me? But I do have a sponsored video coming up. All of this is gonna be given away to one person in an upcoming video that's sponsored. So, you know, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. I bought one of those string GoPro bullet time thingies. It was awesome, but yes, difficult to use. If you guys don't know what he's talking about, it's basically when you take a camera and just like crank up that frame rate and swing it around your head. You could do it with a GoPro, like I talked about in my last video. If you guys watched my last video, you guys would know what I'm talking about. VPR says nipples. Yeah, do not wear a thin white shirt when it's cold. Got it.